Hello everyone. So today I thought it would be really fun if I took you along to the library with me. I have a couple of books that are on hold and are ready to be picked up. So I was gonna head out and pick them up and then show you what I got because I actually just finished Beach Read this morning, so I don't have a physical book to read anymore. And I unfortunately didn't really love this book, and I feel really bad for anyone that really liked this book. I know that one of my close friends really loved it. Not a bad book, just like not really the genre that I generally connect with. So on top of going to the library, which I'm really pumped about, it's my best friend's birthday, so I'm gonna head over to a stationery store and get her a birthday card so you can come along the way to do some errands with me and talk about a bunch of books. I want to show you the books that I got from the library, even though you've already seen them. These are actually both new releases. The first book I'm going to show you just recently got released, and then the other book was released a few months ago. So the first book that I picked up was Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell, and I just randomly found this on Goodreads, and I just saw that it was about this psychedelic rock band in 1967 in England, which is totally up my alley because I love 60s rock and psychedelic and all that kind of stuff. So I was really excited about the synopsis of the book, and I decided to pick it up, even though it is quite a chunky book. I have never read anything by this author before, but he's written Cloud Atlas and The Bone Clocks, if you guys have ever heard of those. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about this book just because it is really chunky. So basically what I'm gonna do with this, guys, I'm just gonna read a little bit of it, and then if I don't end up liking it, I'm gonna DNF it. I don't know why I'm being so weird about it, but the premise of it sounds really interesting. There's just not enough reviews to know if it was actually executed well, but I will at least give this one a shot. And then the next book that I got, which I'm sure you guys have all heard of, is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I mean, this has been all over BookTube. Sorry for the crazy reflection. These are library copies, so they have the library binding. But first of all, I'm sure we can all agree that the cover for this, if you can even see it, is stunning. It's stunning. And I'm really excited to read this book. So basically, the inside flap says, twins inseparable as children ultimately choose to live in two very different worlds, one black and one white. So I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with one of my friends. I might start today and then just check in with you guys over the next couple of days as I'm reading it. But I've been really excited about this one. It's really hyped up. It's supposed to be really good, and I can't wait to share with you my thoughts on it. So I want to give you guys a reading update because I have not been doing a good job of that. So it is currently Tuesday, and the last time I updated you guys, I think it was Wednesday. So it's been almost a week, which is really bad. But this is basically what I'm reading. I'm reading Marry Him, The Case for Settling for Mr. Goodenough by Lori Gottlieb, and I'm absolutely loving this book. If you probably have never heard of this book, let me know if you have, but Lori Gottlieb just released a new book which is getting a lot of attention. Not just, it's been out for a little bit, but it's called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, which is also a book that I've been really wanting to read, but I decided to pick up one of her older books, and then I have the other book on hold at the library So whenever that comes in, yeah, I've just been really in the mood for like nonfiction, like dating and relationship type books, and this is obviously one of them, and I really, really like it. This book is basically about, it's kind of a memoir, but it's basically about Lori being a 41-year-old single woman who's never been married. She decided in her late 30s, I believe, to get like a sperm donor so that she could bear her own children. And it's just about her and like the dating process of dating a little bit older and the struggles that she has to go through. So it's, yeah, it gives you a lot of advice on like dating and just like relationships in general, which I just think is really interesting. And I think that she offers a lot of insight. I think a lot of people were giving this book hate. I'd actually be curious to read some of the hate comments for this book, which maybe I'll do a little bit later in this video. But this book got a lot of, I think it was controversial because in the title it says The Case for Settling for Mr. Goodenough, and I think people were assuming that she was telling women to settle for a guy, but she's actually doing the exact opposite. She's telling women to focus on what's actually important in a relationship and not just be a perfectionist about things, and just try to find someone who you are really compatible with. Because as I just read, in our society, we put more emphasis on chemistry than we do on compatibility, even though chemistry is something that can grow over time, but compatibility is usually something that you either have or you don't based off of your values. So anyway, I've been really liking that book, and I am also reading, I just started it yesterday, the audiobook called Committed. I don't know what I put a picture of it here. I don't know what the little subheading is called, but it's by Elizabeth Gilbert, who is the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And as you know, I absolutely loved that book so much. And this book is kind of like the sequel to Eat, Pray, Love, which is exactly what I'm in the mood for. And it's basically about like the continuation of the story. And in Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert goes through this like really tumultuous divorce, and she's really scarred by it and doesn't want to get married again. And Committed is just a book about her opening back up to marriage and the idea of marriage and what marriage is. And I love her books. I love her audiobooks. She's such a great narrator. So I'm really enjoying my reading experience with this book. And the reason why I have not been updating you guys is because I just had like a speech/presentation last night, and I've been so anxious about it, and I've just been like practicing it and like making sure that I was gonna do a good job. So I just was so stressed, and I just didn't want to update because I just like wanted to get that done. And now that it's over and done with, I can actually just relax. But I do want to show you like my little speech setup because I thought you would find it kind of entertaining. So this is where I gave my speech last night. So I wanted to do it by my window because I get all this like really beautiful natural light. And I literally just stacked all of my books on top of each other, and then I put my laptop right here and gave my speech. As for the books that I picked up from the library, this is where I'm at with them. I'm in like a very big mood reading type of mood right now, and I've just been really interested in reading more like nonfiction, like dating relationship type books. Like that's just really what's compelling me right now. So I did start The Vanishing Half, and I was gonna turn this video into a reading vlog for it, and I got to page 123, and I'm not gonna lie, I just like wasn't super getting like into the story. I thought it was starting really slow. I heard that it does pick up a lot, but for some reason it was really reminding me of my Crawdads, like Where the Crawdads Sing reading experience. And I think that I'm just really not in the mood for literary fiction right now, so I might table this book because I was reading The Vanishing Half and this book at the same time, and every time I went to go read, this was the book that I picked up, this is the book that I was in the mood for, this is the book that I was thinking about when I woke up in the morning and was like dying to read, and not this one. So I might table it. I actually would consider reading it on or listening to it on audio, but will take a minute to get that because this book is popular. So yeah, as for this book, this chunky guy, it's kind of funny because I was like, come to the library with me, And we are literally, you guys, we are going to go back to the library right now and return the 2 books that I just picked up from the library and did not read. So, this book I think is gonna go back too. Not only is it really big and it's like intimidating me, again, I'm not in the mood for literary fiction, and I just don't want to force myself to read what I don't want to read and what I'm not in the mood for. So I actually have some books in at the library that are what I want to read and what I'm in the mood for. So we're gonna go back and return these guys and go pick up a couple of new books. So that is my plan, and then when I get back from the library, I will share with you what I picked up. So back from the library, and as you saw, I picked up The Dinner List by Rebecca Serle, and I am so excited to read this book. If you saw my latest wrap up, you know that I just finished In 5 Years, which is her newest book, and I absolutely loved it so much that I decided to look up some of her other books, and The Dinner List, I believe, is her only other, the only other adult book that she has out, so I'm super pumped to read this one. And I've been waiting for it for so long, and I didn't understand why it was taking forever, and then I realized that this book is from Staten Island, so that's probably why it took a minute to get to me. So this book like talks about the question of like, if you could have 5 people living or dead to have dinner with, like who would you invite and why? And so the main character, Sabrina Nielsen, arrives at her 30th birthday dinner to meet her best friend. She finds at the table some unexpected guests, among them her favorite professor from college, Audrey Hepburn, and her ex. I'm really excited to read this book. I'll probably finish this one before, and I'm kind of in the mood to just read like one book at a time. But since I am talking about Rebecca Serle, I wanted to just say something that I actually forgot to say in my wrap up for anyone that cares about reading this book or if you read this book. I actually really loved the author's portrayal of the main character's relationship with her fiance. And the reason why I liked it so much is because, so I feel like a lot of relationships that are like bad in books are relationships where one of the partners is like kind of abusive or like undermines the other person, or where they fight a lot and like is very like in your face that they're just like not compatible people. But what I really liked was that the main character and her fiance, they really cared about each other. They had like a good friendship, but they just like grew apart over time. There was no like fighting or anything like that, and I just liked how I feel like that's just common in relationships, that there doesn't always need to be a fight for the reason for a relationship to end or to not be working. It could just be that 2 people kind of, you know, grow apart or have different wants or needs in life, and then it ends. And I just thought that was like very unique, and I really haven't seen that in a book. I feel like books and movies, they always try to like dramatize that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's just as simple as like, we're just not clicking anymore. So yeah, that's my reading plans. So I wasn't sure how many books I was gonna get from the library. I have a couple other books that are coming in that I might be able to show you by the end of this vlog. So yes, we might be going back to the library. So the title of this video is clearly on point because we're just going to go to the library the entire video, basically. So if those books come in the next few days, like by the end of the week, we'll go back to the library and I will show you what books I got. But for now, I'm just gonna keep reading my current book and I will update you guys in a little bit. Also, I forgot to say this, but so I sent my friend her birthday card. I sent her the one with the waves on it, and she absolutely loved it, and she got so emotional when she opened it. So I'm really happy that she ended up liking her card because she means a lot to me, and it's her birthday, and that's a big deal. So I'm really excited that she ended up liking it so much. Okay, so it's currently Tuesday, and I thought I'd give you guys a reading update. I finished The Dinner List last night, and I definitely liked In 5 Years a lot better, which I kind of expected because whenever I pick up another book by an author that I really liked, I usually like the first book better. But this book wasn't bad. I thought it was okay. And what I really liked about this book was that it kind of flipped back and forth between the dinner with like the 5 people on her list and how the story of her and her ex and how they met and where they got to and like the history of their relationship, and kind of like it all came together at the end. So I thought that was really cool, but definitely like not going to be one of my favorites. But if you're into contemporary romance, I would definitely check this one out. As for my plans for today, so a lot of my books from the library decided to all come in like basically at the same time, which is giving me anxiety because I've honestly been doing a really bad job at reading. But I've been trying to read like at least 1 hour a day, just to like prioritize it, just because I don't know what it is about reading, but whenever I read I feel guilty, like I should be doing something else, even though reading is something that brings me a lot of joy in my life. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go pick up those books and let you know what I got. Of course, I literally can't believe we're going to the library for the 3rd time in the same vlog, even though this vlog took over, like, I don't even know when I started this vlog. It's been so long. As for something I said earlier in the vlog about reacting to comments, so for Mayhem, I was going through some of the like 1-star, 2-star comments, and it was just like boggling my mind. Some of the things that people were saying, especially when it comes to self-help books. I decided that I'm not going to include that in this video, but if you guys are interested in me reacting to like 1 or 2-star, like, what am I saying? 1 or 2-star reviews for a book that I've recently read or a book that you're interested in that I've read, let me know. I can link down my Goodreads down below if you want to check out the books that I've read so far this year. I think it would be kind of a fun video idea, except I feel like the books that I read, like some are like kind of like hyped books that everyone reads, and then some are just like books that no one has heard of. But yeah, just let me know. And I guess without further ado, it's actually beautiful outside. I want to show you what the sky looks like right now, but let's go on and go to the library. Got back from the library and this looks crooked. So I'm still on like the trend of reading dating and relationship books, which I'm sure you could see by the books that I just picked up, but I thought that I would just talk you through them just in case you haven't heard of them before. So this one is not like a dating or relationship book, but this is Ariel by Sylvia Plath, who is a famous poet and novelist. She wrote The Bell Jar, which I have previously read, and this is like her famous works. She's known as being a famous poet, and I believe this is her literary masterpiece. I'm not gonna lie, I was like kind of surprised how thick it is for like a poetry book, but I think there's like a lot of other things in this book, like some like manuscript stuff and then just like the basic poems. I am not in the mood to read this book cover to cover because I've done that with like an E.E. Cummings poetry book, and it's just like not what I want to do. So what I might do is I might just like pick through and like read like poems that catch my eye, but this is way longer than I thought. So I'm just gonna see how I like it, but poetry is something that I've been wanting to read more this year, so I decided to pick up Ariel because it's really famous. As for the other books, which have very similar titles, so you might get a little bit confused, but they are like a little bit different. The first is Aziz Ansari's Modern Romance. This book, I actually remember this book coming out like forever ago. I believe, not forever, it was like 2015, but I never read it. And this book is basically all about how modern romance has changed in the past decade, especially with online dating and apps and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really excited to read this book. I think it sounds so interesting. And I was just like flipping through it, and they like give examples of like good types of profile pictures and all the things that we deal with dating that we wouldn't have to deal with like many decades ago. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about reading this one. And then the next book, so that's modern romance. This one is called Modern Love. So Modern Love is basically a New York Times column that started in 2004. And this is kind of just like an anthology of a bunch of different like articles that they just like put together into a book, which is honestly really awesome because you have to pay for the New York Times, and this book allows you to read some of the articles and columns for free. So this book also gets into like how technology has changed dating forever and the timeless struggles experienced by anyone who has ever searched for love. And then it also talks about, this is the perfect book for anyone who's loved, lost, stalked an ex on social media, or pined for true romance. In other words, anyone interested in the endlessly complicated workings of the human heart. So I'm also pretty excited to read this. As you can see, so give you an example. Yeah, it's written kind of just like articles, and then they're not super long, which is kind of nice. So I'll be able to just like blow through this, but I just think it'd be really interesting to see how like dating and romance has changed through the past couple of decades, and read some New York Times articles. So that is my recent library book haul, which has basically been this entire video. But thank you so much for sticking around all the way till the end of the video. If you have any content ideas or things that you would like me to do in future videos, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your ideas. But thanks again so much for being here. As I just said, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one.